We're just about winding our conversation here on Agribusiness with the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, Felix Koskei, and Caleb Karuga, who's a young farmer. Caleb, you were telling us something very interesting during the break, and just very quickly tell us, because I found it extremely interesting. You actually do not invest in, you don't have your own land.
No.
How do you do it?
I don't have my own land, and that should not worry a young person. What you do is there's a lot of idle land right there, probably your neighbor. Just lease some land. You know, go to a lawyer, just write up an agreement.
How much do you lease land for?
10,000 shillings a year.
Per acre?
Per acre. And that's enough. You get in a week you have your piece of land, and you'll be there for 5 years. So as a young person, don't need to get 5-10 million shillings to buy 5 acres to call yourself a farmer. No, start with what you have.
Okay. Yeah. I'd like us to very quickly look at a story here, because we've talked a lot about the challenges, but there's also some really good success stories out there for farmers who are doing good things in agribusiness. And Patrick Igunza brings that story for us now. Caleb, you had a question for the CS, and I was just saying, I'm the journalist. I came up with questions based on research, but you're on the ground. Please address it.
There's a question if I don't ask. Poultry farmers, dairy farmers, and farmers across the country will not forgive me. Now that I'm close to Mheshimiwa, I'll have to ask. Himambo ya VAT on animal feeds. I'll tie that one with the quality of the feeds. We are being duped day in, day out by people who are manufacturing feeds, but they are low quality. So one, VAT, anything you're going to work on that, because we are paying a lot, because you're trying to subsidize consumption and not production. I think it should be production first, not consumption.
Well, the government decided to slam VAT across the board. One is to expand the tax bracket and ensure that everybody's paying. And if you look at the government focus is to subsidize on production side and let the other side pay. So you will not lose at the end of the day. But when it comes to the quality, that is an area that as a ministry we are looking at it, and we are saying yes, there is an issue here. And the Director of Industry Services, the Director of Livestock Production are really looking at it, and we are coming up with very pragmatic measures to ensure that we correct the situation. We have roped in KEBS, we have roped in all the agencies of government to ensure that all processing plants for feed is ensured that they produce good quality feed. But we need also to inform the farmers that please get this feed from
certified
stores, stockists that are known, not people who are selling along the road.
Yes. We'd like to look at some questions from our Twitter feed right now coming up. But just as they come up, Caleb, maybe you can tell us, there's a general sense that young farmers are in isolation and operating, far from each other, far from markets. As you answer that question, I'll be looking at some of the Twitter feed that's coming up. Why do you operate like that?
Because we don't have a better example, because people work with examples. If you've seen cooperative movements working in your area, or chamas working in your area, people joining hands and going to farm and selling the produce and sharing amongst the members, then as a young farmer, if I'm getting to farming, I will get 2-3 people. Yes, it's happening, but most people would rather go solo, because there's no harmony. You don't have you're not united. You don't have one common goal that you're going to have this produce and you're going to sell it. That's why we are selling it. But I will say that young farmers are coming together. There are so many groups in this country. Despite the odds facing young farmers, they are still saying we will do farming. Okay.
We saw the Twitter feed just right now, and CS, this particular question was coming to you, and it says, what is the government's comprehensive plan to ensure the food harvested from Galana does not go to waste?
Well, let me explain the business model of Galana. Galana Food Security Project is established to ensure that we have enough food, first of all, and to have surplus for export. And the business model is that the government will provide the infrastructure, while the private sector will do the farming itself or livestock keeping. But we are looking at a total value chain, where the farmer has to farm, he has to process, and he has to package, and the end product we want to see it at the shelves of a supermarket. So we'll make sure that nothing happens. I'm sure the person who sent the question is thinking about the Bura and the 3-4 years,
irrigation schemes,
the
yes.
aflatoxin issue that came about. But I'm happy to report that CARI has come up with a solution, and we are going to construct dryers, we are going to construct warehouses that are of standard, that will ensure that there is no that problem will not recur again.
Now, unfortunately, we have run out of time. As I mentioned before, this is a topic that's very close to the hearts of many Kenyans, and I wish we could have continued and address this issue and answered some of those really great questions that are coming through from our social media platforms. But for now, let's go back to Michael Njenga for that segment, which has become quite popular now. It's time to take out your pen and paper for the Tender Corner.